Hi everyone, this is Sunette, and here with me today is Leila.
Hi everyone.
And for this video, we are here to share with you the process of reading your Beingness Signature drawings. So I did a Beingness Signature drawing for Leila, which you can also see for yourself with the downloadable version available. And I'd like to use this opportunity to walk through the detail of the symbols represented within the Beingness Signature drawing and what it says about your beingness history, the history of your being in existence, more specifically before the creation of Earth and human civilization. So maybe to explain a bit more first for everyone in relation to your beingness. Our current existence right now on Earth consists of a mind, your beingness, and your physical body. So within this, it is your beingness, that reincarnates throughout lifetimes. And then, in and throughout lifetimes, experience a different mind, different personalities, different life experiences. But what is always consistent is your beingness. Now, with this, interestingly enough, what we found through the process of portaling is that your beingness signature is like a DNA imprint, a DNA code that is very unique to your being. So there are some beings who will have similar beingness signature drawings because of originating from the same or similar races before the creation of Earth, human civilization, and the heavens. So there's a long history in relation to the mind, beingness, and body, and also lifetimes and reincarnations. Here you can have a listen to the Reptilians and Atlanteans interview series available on eQuaf. It walks this history in detail. But primarily, the purpose for this is that what we found fascinating is that these beingness signature drawings and the signatures actually has an effect on your mind experience, your self experience, and your life experience. So there's a bit more understanding of yourself and your life that can come through with having a reading done and a drawing done of your beingness signatures. All right, so let's start. I'd like you to have a look at the drawing available, so that as Leila and I are speaking, you can also reference and also join in the experience of what it'll be like for you when you have your beingness signature done. All right, so let's start. What is fascinating here is if you have a look in the background, there is flame-like symbolisms. Right now, here I'm also going to be very specific in that the reference is flame-like symbols, meaning when I interdimensionally access this beingness signature, it's you see it in shapes and formations and movements. It's almost like the signature is alive on a very deep dimension within your beingness. So what I do best in the drawing of it is trying to refine that movement, the symbolism, the geometry, the design, and bring it through into creation. So the flames in the background, the flame-like symbolisms, that represents your starting imprint of your life force, your being. So in other words, it is interesting that when your beingness came into existence, it came into existence through a very particular movement and motion and expression. And fascinatingly enough, with Leila's beingness, her being came through with this fiery expression, So that's what's symbolized in the background with the flames, all right? Then you'll see a representation of three primary dominant diamonds, all right? This, interestingly enough, represents your history in the sense of what is contained in those diamonds is that of the two beings, the two diamonds here in the front with the crowns, all right, crown symbolism. Yeah. That represents the two beings that brought you into existence. It's because of their merging. I mean, in the history of existence, our beingness didn't necessarily birth through the process or experience of sex. It's like you emerged from two beings merging as one and equal, and out of them comes the creation of another being, and that's how you came through. And so in those two diamonds, now what is interesting that I do wish that I could draw, you know, we sometimes also say that, you know, we wish there was like this machine or system that could just imprint, you know, immediately what I see inside myself, you know, because there's so much detail. So in these two diamonds with the crowns, in that is the information of the two beings from which you came. And the two crowns represent that in your beingness history, you were of royalty. In other words, in the races within existence in the past, there was hierarchy, royalty, things like that. So you were coming from a royal lineage. And in those two diamonds as well, you can actually see contained within them the expressions, the nature, the substance of the two beings from which you came.
So that carries all the way through.
Yes, wow. All the way through. Because see, what is interesting is in the past, our beings, all right, was very pure. It really just contained expressions. Now what I mean by expressions is like natures, like gentleness, softness, care, depth, empathy, you know, what we now have words for, but where there are feelings and emotions of our mind attached to, we had the pure life essence of those expressions as beings in the past. So therefore it's interesting that the two main signatures that's coming through there in the diamonds themselves that I can see interdimensionally are, it's like, it looks like wisps of smoke almost that moves, that's like alive, and it keeps on changing and moving, and like it's standing still but also alive and moving at the same time, and in that is contained these pure expressions of, and for you what is coming through your being as well, even in this lifetime. If many who have met Leila or have known her is a gentleness, a softness, a depth. But you know, there's also then more of a masculine maleness also coming through, which is you have a strong ability to be able to be very grounded, stable, quieting yourself very easily. So in your unique expression, right? Yes, it might be emerging of two other beings, but you have made a lot of what they were yourself as well. So what is also very interesting about the emergence or the birth of beings in the past was that always that got transferred in the creation of a new being was the best of the two beings from which you emerged. Always only the best, the evolved, whatever was defined or specified got transferred. You know, like literally the real process of evolution, you know, if you will. Something that always only transferred was what would support that being's existence, in existence, to be the best that they can be. All right. So then we have the main diamond in the center, and that represents you. That's your, within that is contained your individual unique expressions that you developed over lifetimes. I mean, it's interesting that these Beingness Signature drawings, I mean, here you already have a reference for it where it's quite complete, very structured, it stands, you know. That means that over and throughout your lifetimes, even in this life, you have evolved and developed and specified the signature of.
So you're saying that a person's beingness signature will change depending on.
No, actually,
or does it
these
remain
doesn't
constant?
change.
Okay.
This remains constant. Yes, your beingness signatures remain constant. It is your. You can say it references your utmost, fullest potential.
Okay.
Because even in this lifetime, still, we are walking the process of actually reaching our utmost potential.
Yeah, realizing that.
Yes, which is represented by your beingness signature symbol. Now, the sound symbols, which we'll be doing a video on as well. The sound symbols are word symbols, where these word symbols do change as you change.
Okay.
Because, like, let's say, for example, in the two main diamonds that represented your family, your parents, if you will, they also contain words that you, for example, still need to learn, to live, to become, to reach your utmost potential. So it's like in those diamonds are contained the words.
Is it specific that they are diamonds?
Yes. I mean, these diamonds as well are but the representation of diamonds in the best way that we possibly can. In terms of what they really look like interdimensionally, is so much more complex. It's like diamonds within diamonds within diamonds.
So it's very multifaceted.
Very, yes. But also very specific, because in that is like carved out, you know, your expressions.
Okay.
That's real, and it's contained, and it's being held, you know, for you, as you, almost, you know, waiting there for us to connect to it, to become it, to live it. So therefore, it would be suggested, you know, to have a beingness signature drawing, and then also from there, what I can read is your primary words, you know, that you are living or can live to reach your utmost potential. Like, what words do you need to incorporate in your life more? Like, for example, for you, let's say that you are in a stage or phase with having to raise a child, a toddler, you know, with the ups and downs and everyday life that's going on. What words can you incorporate in your daily life? Like, for example, groundedness, stability, calm, slowing down, you know, to support you in this life's journey.
Yeah.
That's essentially the information that we have access to here, to support your being, your utmost potential to come through more into your everyday life. Right, so in that main diamond that represents you, then if you have a look at the strands coming down, looks very similar to DNA strands. This is essentially representing that DNA signature. It is fascinating because these strands also are in constant movement. I mean, it is really extraordinary to see this.
So it's not like a static, it's
no,
moving, organic.
Yes, and moving. So in that the strands are like moving and alive, moving. The DNA strands as well, in how they move, and how the information moves through them. It like you have the diamonds, which are they're structured, solid standing. The content within them, which is your expressions, your words, your movement, your living of your utmost potential, is then moving within the crystallization of the diamond. But at the same time, what's happening is all that information is moving into the DNA strands. So in the DNA strands, it's then moving and resonating, like pulsing at the same time. It's like pulsing into your being, into the substance of your mind and also your physical body. So it's a constant, could say impulsing, imprinting. And now many may, for example, ask, but you know, why, if this has existed, you know, has our beingness expressions not come through?
Yeah.
You know, why is our mind still so dominant? And here our thoughts and our internal conversations and our emotions and feelings, why have we really not understood the essence of what it means to live our utmost potential? This is because our being, you know, over lifetimes, had been channeled so much into our mind that most of our being awareness had kind of lost touch with our own essence, with our own expression.
Like you lose familiarity with what's here and start to resonate with your mind more.
Yes, exactly. So therefore, it is a process where we have to kind of release ourselves from our consciousness and mind parts, reconnect or get in touch again with remembering our beingness, our utmost potential, and then how to live
Bring
that
it forth.
and bring it forth into everyday life. Exactly. Right. So there, that is, as you said, organic, moving, expressing. Then you've got the round circular platform here. That also, because that platform is so solid, rounded, stable, it just supports as, you know, holding all that information like together. You can also interdimensionally see from this platform like these resonant soft lines like rising up, almost breathing life, you know, into all the DNA strands, into the diamonds themselves. So it's like a round circular motion almost that's moving the whole time. All the information from the diamonds moving through the DNA strands down into the circular foundation, and then breathing up life again. And then, so it's like this motion that's moving, almost like do an in-breath and an out-breath. And in-breath is like a heartbeat as well, like your beingness heartbeat. Right, so then you also have the two circular structures at the top, and here one at the bottom. That those circular structures represent essentially infinity. Infinity meaning that this symbolism, this representation of yourself is infinite. It's always here. It'll always exist here because you're always here. That is like the core of, one can say, the core representation of infinite or eternal existence. This is your the real depth symbolism of self, of your being. Then in the back there, interestingly enough, this kind of a teardrop structure in the back represents your being's tendency of, you know, some beings, for example, shall we say, overall background representation is different, because it speaks volumes of where in your existence have you been living or existing more. So in other words, with this, because it's more rounded at the bottom and making a pinpoint at the top, you've had few lives or experiences in the heavens. You had quite a few lifetimes here on Earth, which also represents, you know, with your our ability to be very stable and grounded. You found this, interestingly enough, beings who had more lifetimes and reincarnations on Earth do have a tendency to be quite stable, but at the same time also a very quick, fast tendency to become emotional with the snap of the fingers. So, you know, that's also that kind of imbalance with our beings, you know, being conditioned into a mind, into this physical reality over lifetimes, when our inherent expressions, you know, are actually so much different. So that would represent your basic reading of your beingness signature. And for you, for example, the words that I see that is here, interestingly enough, you have managed to, in your life, live more of the expressions of the two beings from which you came. Because that was, I mean, coming from this fiery expression coming into existence, you know, being introduced first into a way of how to express yourself, how to be as a being. And all of that was within you. You know, it wasn't like parenting is today in the sense of guiding through communication or example. It was you had an instant imprint of them within you to guide you in how to develop then your own unique expressions. So that would then be in your main diamond, which means that as a being you had opportunities throughout your lifetimes and reincarnations. You did develop certain expressions, certain words that belong only to you, but there is more potential for you. And that I can represent for you in the sound symbol drawings. See what words would assist and support. So here also an example for everyone. You know, when I do a Beingness Signature drawing, I can also from there do sound symbol drawings for you of what words would support you the most to live. What words are you living now that can be enhanced or changed or specified? Where are you in your life right now? So that would be us for today in sharing an example of the Beingness Signature drawings, what they are, where they come from. But as I said, what is most important for me is that they assist and support with just getting to know yourself a little bit better, and to...
Yeah, because sometimes it's tough because you experience these words, but you'll judge them inside yourself, thinking that, is this an emotion or is this a feeling, while it's actually an expression of yourself.
So you'll also be able to understand the difference between emotional and feeling experiences versus living and being a word constantly throughout your day.
Because sometimes it just needs to be pointed out for you to realize, oh, that's actually what that was.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so any other questions, Leila?
No.
Does this make
Satisfied,
sense?
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, everyone. Thank you very much for joining, and looking forward to sharing with you your Beingness Signature drawings and doing the readings with you. And then also with that, the sound symbol drawings, which we'll do another video sharing the details of doing a sound symbol reading. Thank you very much.